Okay, now for the tissue paper on the inside. This big pile of tissue paper. Okay, what a mess, right? Open it all the way up and try to get your bearings. If you look at the pattern, you see how it says number 2 and back, and it says teen adult. So this is one that you're going to need. Remember, you do 1, 2, and 3. And depending on what size you are, that's your cutting line. Okay, and you saw these ones earlier, the notches. And you saw the grain line that you have right through the middle. And here you also have that expanding, or the line you use if you need to make it longer or shorter. Also, you've got your number 3. This is your elastic guide. You don't have to cut this in fabric. This is just for your guide. So you have to cut it out, but you don't have to cut fabric. And then over here, you have number 1. So also the front of A, B, and C for the teen adult that you can see at the top there. And again, you see the grain line, and you see the adjustment line here. And you'll see that if you're doing the short shorts, here's the bottom of the short shorts, here's the bottom of the long shorts, and then the hem of the pants is way, way, way down on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to be making the pants for Anders. So I've got the children's sizes out, and you can see here, look at how cuckoo that 2 looks. That's exactly why you need to iron the pattern, because it's been folded and smushed into a package, and it might not be exactly true if you don't iron it. So I've got number 2, and I've got number 1 over here, and then I've got the elastic guide, number 3, and or where is it? Number 3, the elastic guide is on the side over here. So I'm going to be making the size large for Anders. I was thinking I might make the size medium, but looking at the pattern, this is some of the adjustments you get to make. The size medium is 10 to 12, and that is usually his size in a store. But I was looking at some sweatpants that he has that he likes a lot. The widest part of those sweatpants is 36 inches, and those are knit. So this would be slightly smaller, and I want them to be pretty comfortable and cozy for a while. So I'm going to go with a little bit bigger, and I can always just make the elastic fit exactly, what would fit now. So just to make it kind of more roomy, I'm going to size up and do, like, it's wild for him to be 14, 16, but that's the size I'm going to make. So I look at the pattern, and I find the large size, and I don't have to circle it since it's the biggest one, but I am going to cut it out and iron it. So next step is to go ahead and cut out your pattern, the size that you want. And you don't cut it tight when you cut it out first. You cut it like a big circle outside of the line, because you'll want to cut it tight when you cut right around the fabric. Okay, so I've got my number 2, my number 1, and my number 3. They're all cut out and separated. And when I was cutting it out, I noticed that it does like a little funky thing with that short, medium, short, and then the rest of the pants. So this little notch that comes out, that's for the hem of the shorts. And you'll see the long one has about 1 1/4 inch kind of funny little jog out to the side, and we have it out at the bottom of ours too, the pants. And that's so that when you hem it, you're not hemming a triangle or a trapezoid shape, because obviously that wouldn't hem easily. It would be it wouldn't be a flat fold. So when you're sewing or when you're cutting the actual pattern, go around this, but we're going to just like kind of jog right straight past that. And we're going to imagine a line that continues from here straight to that line. So when we're actually cutting the fabric, we're going to do that. So going back to the pattern, we're going to look at the lengths, the finished length of the pattern. So the side length of A, depending on what size you're looking at, you've got like, anywhere from like, 44 to 43, 44 inches, kind of depending on your size. So this is the point where you say, is this long enough? Is it too short? The size that you're making, how do you need to adjust it? If you like the length of a different size, say you're going to make a medium, but you'd like the length of a small, then it's very easy to just use, here's the small length, here's the medium length for the kids one, right? All you do is use this length and give yourself that little funny jog. You're going to need that little jog to accommodate the hem again. You can always cut the length out of here, but you're going to, it's kind of easier just to use the other length if you want to. Or if it's somewhere in between, then use this cutting line, this adjustment line. So also looking at some of the other markings that are on the pattern. So this tells you that the pattern number, this is for child teen, yours is going to say adult, and it says which sizes, and it says this is called the back, and you're going to be using it for pattern A, B, or C, so all three of them are going to be used this. It also says cut two. That means that you're going to end up with two of these pieces. And you have, all these notches on the sides that are going to help you line up the pieces correctly when the time comes. It doesn't look like this pattern has any of the dots or circles that need marking. Haven't seen any yet anyway. So that's kind of information there. It also shows the crotch line. So if you're worried that it's not going to be low enough, you can always extend. Here's another adjustment line. So if you need the waist to crotch longer, then you can always adjust it here. Or if you need the crotch, or if you need the legs like particularly long, like this little crotch line, you can measure from the inside of the leg to the ankle and see if this line to the bottom is the right length for you. Minus, you'll see that it says there's a 1 1/4 inch hem allowed. So the length of this at the bottom is going to be 1 1/4 inches longer than it's going to be finished. Also, there's a bunch of space up here where the elastic is going to be folded inside. So this is an extra long. You can't just measure the side and say that's long enough for me. You have to look at the pattern and figure out if the pattern says it's going to work for you. Okay, so for the next lesson, you should have your fabric washed and dried, pre-shrunk, maybe a couple of times, and then the fabric ironed and the patterns ironed. Okay, and then we'll start lesson 4.